Hi guys, Metal Maniac back again, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review on Death's seventh and final album, The Sound of Perseverance. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Like I said, this was their last album. This was released in 1998. And originally their last album was actually originally supposed to be Symbolic, which was the album I just reviewed. I guess the record label that they were under wanted them to do at least one more album. Because before that, like, Symbolic was supposed to be the last one. Chuck was already starting a side project. He was already starting another band called Control Denied, where he wasn't the singer, but he was the main guitarist. I think they already had stuff. He already had stuff recorded, I think. But yeah, he was doing that. But then I guess the record label wanted him to reform his band to do one more album, and this was it. Now, again, the lineup changed. Actually, I think there's credits on this album. Hold on, because I know Gene Hoglan, even though he did drums on both Individual Thought Patterns and Symbolic, he didn't do drums on this one. Let's see the lineup. Oh, I almost dropped that. Set that down for a second. The lineup on this one is hold on, should be in here. Yep, there we go. The lineup on this album, can't speak. The lineup on this album is Shannon Hamm on guitar, Chuck Schuldiner on guitar and vocals, Scott Keldine on bass, and Richard Christie on drums. And there they are. And that is Chuck Schuldiner himself. But yeah. So, this is their last album before Chuck went to do Control Denied. Hold on. Get this back in here. There we go. And it is a very, very, very different sounding album than the rest. Like, okay, here's the thing. On the first three albums, the first three albums were death metal. Like, they were old school death metal. But starting with the fourth album, Human, so with the first album, yes, it's old school death metal, blood, gore, horror movie themed lyrics. Same thing with the second one, but they were a lot less cheesy, more like top tier, serious horror movie quality stuff. With the third album, it was death metal, but the third album, the subject matter was a lot more starting to have a lot more realism to the subject matter, because in that one, even though it was not horror theme, even though it was a death metal album, the lyrics were technically about real world problems, like real world problems like greed, corruption, and stuff like that. Then Human was not even a death metal album. Human was more, I don't know what you'd say, it's very experimental. I guess you could say it was progressive. I don't know, progressive metal. Human was basically the subject matter of human beings, like, why are we here? How do we function? Like, just basically, very surreal, like, subject matter about questioning humanity and stuff like that. And then the fifth album, Individual Thought Patterns, was a lot more psychological. Like, it was a lot about, like, I guess most of it was about different people's thought processes and stuff, like how people think differently and stuff like that. Like, that's what the main theme of that album was about. That was a lot more progressive and technical as well. Almost said symbolic. Symbolic. Symbolic was a lot more philosophical, like a lot more out there, very questioning existence as a whole, like, and just like basically, I know Symbolic was a lot more philosophical in a way. And then this is hard to explain. Like, it kind of takes this sort of overall theme from Symbolic, but like puts it in a different perspective, I guess. Um, but yeah, this is very different from the rest. It's the most melodic, the most symphonic, the most progressive Death had ever been. And this feels very like a very personal album. Like it feels like Chuck Schuldiner put his all into this album, even more than any of his other albums. Even though he put his all into all of the rest, but like here it really shows. Like this album seems very personal. Like a lot of like personal stuff. Like very like I don't know. It just feels like he just put his heart and soul into this album. Let's see. Oh yeah, the artwork. Um, it's interesting because this is not the original artwork. This is the only album that was the artwork has been changed. Like this is the remastered version. And then actually, hold on. Let me get this pamphlet out again, or the booklet, or whatever you call it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, hold on. So you can see at the top. Okay, so the bottom is this one, the one that's on the front. But on the top is the original artwork, the original 1998 artwork, which I actually like both, but for two different things. Like, okay, so I wish whenever they re-release this album again, I wish they would take a certain element from the old one and the certain element from this one, and then combine the two to make the best of both worlds. Like, here's the thing. I like the mountain on the new version better, but I like the background on the old version better. Like, there's an actual background on the old version, whereas on the new version it's just blank red sky. Like, I like how in the background of the other one there's like more like rock formations, and like you can't really see it on the camera here, but on the old one there's like a really hazy red mist going on. See, I would take. I like the atmosphere and like the background of the original. So I wish if they ever re-release this album again, I really wish they would take the background and the hazy mist and just put it on this version. Um, but yeah, and there's not really much on the back in terms of artwork. Although there is a really awesome quote. I really like this quote. The quote is, uh, "Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. That he does not become a monster. And when you look long into the abyss also looks into you." What an awesome quote. Um. Okay. So let's get into the songs. Close properly. Okay. So the first song is called "Scavenger of Human Sorrows." This one is, I guess, a fan favorite. Probably not the top fan favorite, but a fan favorite. It's about. I honestly don't know exactly what it's about. Like, I don't even really kind of understand the basic premise. It's like very confusing. I don't know, but it's a really cool song. Very progressive, very melodic. Oh yeah, and Chuck on this album. Okay, so his vocals change throughout the albums. Like on the first album, they're like a variety of different classic death metal vocals. Like he does high shrieks, like not high shrieks. He does high bloody blood curdling screams. He does low gutturals. He does rasps. And on the second album, he does a lot more traditional death metal vocals, like the low guttural vocals in a way. And then on Human and Individual Thought Pattern, yeah, on Human and Individual Thought Patterns, on both of those, he does a lot, like, he does like a weird sort of not like regular singing, but he doesn't do the death metal vocals. It's a weird in-between mix. And then on Symbolic, he does higher pitched vocals, like higher raspy. But on this album, he does extremely high pitched, raspy vocals. He does like a really sort of wraithy type vocals, like really high pitched, raspy vocals, like almost like black metal type vocals. Which I really liked his vocals on this. I really like his vocals on this album. So yeah, Scavenger of Human Sorrows is awesome. Um, Bite the Pain is the next song. This song, On a good day, I'll like the song. On a day where I'm not in such a good mood, or I'm just not, that um, high in energy, I'll skip it. But I mean, it's a good song when you have the time and energy to listen to it. But Bite the Pain is awesome. Um, my favorite song on the album is the third song, Spirit Crusher. Like, this is an epic, epic song, and I really like the live version, the '98 live version as well. Like, you could watch it on YouTube. It's really awesome. Starts off with this awesome sort of bass intro, and then I know it. It's really awesome, and then like there's two different riffs. There's the dun 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 down 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 down, ba-da-da-da. And then there's the main riff. The sorry, that was really really cringy and like I won't try to recreate the main riff. But yeah, there's two riffs. There's a bridge riff, I think it's called a bridge riff, and then there's the main riff that's really epic. And then the way that Chuck Schuldiner, he screeches the words "Spirit Crusher," like "Spirit Crusher," like yeah, I can't do those vocals, but yeah, he really really puts his all into the song. Um, but like I imagine after this song, like I imagine he was always out of breath after this song. Like he had to take a break, like a few minute break, because there's no way he couldn't just right on to the next song. Like I guess he had to, like I don't know. It's just really amazing how he could like do that and not have to take a break. Maybe he had to. I don't know. It just seems like it would take all the energy out of a person, but I don't know. The subject matter about the song is awesome. It's about a spirit crusher. It's about basically about the type of people who really like to see people in a very bad mental state who take joy like seeing people very miserable and purposely say stuff that'll put them down, like say stuff that'll like make them even more miserable. Like people, like really, really messed up people like that who like to see other people miserable and purposely go out of the way to make people miserable because they love to see people miserable. Like that's what the spirit crushers are. Those type of people. That's what a spirit crusher is. But yeah. Now people have speculated that the reason for this song being a song like this is that maybe Chuck Schuldiner had an experience like that. Like maybe he came across a person who was like that like tried to like put him down, like tried to like talk him down, try to like say, "Oh, you're worthless" and stuff like that, and he made a song about it. I don't know. He could have come across a person like that and made a song about it. But yeah, Spirit Crusher is awesome, really awesome song, very melodic too. Like I don't know, I can't speak today. Yeah, very melodic too, and very progressive. One of the most progressive and melodic songs on the album. Uh, and it's quite a long song, like compared to like songs on other albums. Like this album is long compared to most other albums. I know that Symbolic was pretty long, but not really long, but like long compared to majority of the other albums. But this is very long, but it's worth it. Yeah, so Spirit Crusher is a long song, but it's really good. Story to Tell is also really good. I can't really get what the song is about. I guess someone has a story to tell, but it's pretty good, very catchy. But yeah, track number five, "Flesh and the Power It Holds," is an extremely overrated and overpraised song. I do not like this song. Like I mean, it was so hyped. It's been hyped for years and years and years ever since the album was released and very overly praised to the point where, like, this has to be one of the best songs of all time. And I listened to it and I didn't like it. Like, I still don't like it, even now after I've listened to this album, like, hundreds of times. But, yeah, it's just not a good song. It's way too long. I think it's definitely the longest song on the album. And it's just not that good of a song. It's pretty boring. Oh, it just got really dark in here. Hold on, let me turn on my lamp really quick. There we go. Oh, no. Oh, oh, oh. Ugh. No, I'm not gonna bother. My lamp is very finicky. It doesn't always, the switch doesn't always stay, so it turns off because the switch is broken. But anyway, sorry about that. Um, anyway, yeah. So Flesh and the Power It Holds is not that good of a song. Um, Voice of the Soul, the only instrumental that I think there's one other instrumental that Death did. I think it was on I think it might have been on Individual Thought Patterns. But yeah, that was the Individual Thought Patterns one wasn't very good. But the instrumental here, Voice of the Soul, is so it brings a tear to your eye. Like, it feels very sad. And I mean, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, in 2001, Chuck Schuldiner passed away from cancer. And he didn't even get to, like, I think he finished the second Control Denied album, but he didn't get to release it, and it's still unreleased to this day, because now his family has the rights to the album, and I guess they don't want to release it for some reason. Anyway, so Chuck Schuldiner, he passed away in 2001, and the instrumental, the title of it, Voice of the Soul, has become, ironically, the title of it has become ironically, very ironic. Like, it's become ironic in a sad way. Like, Voice of the Soul. Sorry, like, every time I talk about this instrumental, every time I hear it, I always tear up. I don't know why. Like, and it's not just me. Everyone that I've talked to, like, they always tear up either when they talk about this instrumental or when they hear it. Like, it really brings out your emotions. So yeah, it's like no other like extreme metal song, not even another extreme metal instrumental, like nothing in metal like is like you could listen to like some other songs like Blood Brothers by Iron Maiden, and even though it's a sad song, it doesn't really get your emotions going like this instrumental. Um but yeah, really awesome instrumental, kind of sadly ironic that the title is Voice of the Soul. Um Anyway, yeah, so overall, Voice of the Soul, great instrumental. um, Forgive Us to Suffer. This one is a great song. I love the subject matter. Hold on. Alright. I love the subject matter, how it's about basically people who... Okay, basically the subject matter is just basically like, oh, you forgive people too much, like forgiving people about something, like especially like something drastic, like say like someone, like say your girlfriend cheats on you or something like that. The first time, okay, you may be really kind, so you forgive her or like or whatever, but then you're like, oh, it's okay. But here's the thing: if you forgive someone and whatever you forgive them for is something very, very drastic and very extreme, and you forgive them for something like that more than like once or twice, then you're just letting yourself suffer. Like, that's what the song is about. It's like forgiving. If you over forgive someone, like forgive someone for doing something really drastic, like forgive someone for something like that more than like once or twice, and like not put your foot down, like, oh, I'm not going to forgive you. This has gone too far. Then yeah, you're left to suffer because like you could only really forgive someone so many times before it just before it becomes meaningless, and like you're just basically letting yourself feel guilt. Anyway, so yeah, I love the subject matter of that song, and but yeah, that song's awesome. And next is A Moment of Clarity. This song is awesome. I can't exactly tell what the song is about other than someone trying to basically find a moment of clarity. I don't know. But it's awesome. Ah, and the album closes with an awesome, awesome track. Uh, the Painkiller cover. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the band Judas Priest, one of their most famous songs is the title track from their album Painkiller. But yeah, so that's one of their most famous songs. And Death did their own version of that song, and oh, it's so good. Like from the opening drum intro, um, and then like right after the opening drum intro, just Chuck Schuldiner. Okay, so this is his best vocal performance of all time. Uh, he does like right after the drum intro, like he just lets out this really high pitched shriek that goes on for a good amount of time. Like there, his lung capacity was astounding. Like there's no way like I could have ever imagined someone could like keep that shriek for such a long time. Like like his vocal performance throughout this song is awesome. Like he really brings his all to this song. But yeah, even though it's just a cover of an existing song, like a cover of a Judas Priest song, it's epic. Like a lot of hardcore Judas Priest fans bash this song just because it's not Rob Halford singing, just because it's not the band Judas Priest doing the song. But it is amazing. Like this, yeah, like Chuck, like just some amazing, like great vocals on this song. Like he even like okay, so during the near the end part of the song, when okay, so talking about the original version by Judas Priest for a second, in the original version, like okay, so for most of the song, Rob Halford in the original version of the song, he has this really high pitched sort of really high pitched frequency type vocals, like this really high pitch like that. And but like at the near the end of the song, he sings a certain section is in his own regular voice. And Chuck does this on this. Chuck does that on this version, but instead of the really like high pitched Rob Halford like kind of vocals, he does his own like you know how I said he does these really high like raspy, wraithy type almost black metal vocals. He does that to the extreme on this song. Um, but and then like when the song like the cover of the song like when it goes to that section near the end where in the original version Rob Halford sings in his own voice, Chuck Schuldiner sings in his own voice, but in a way that sounds very similar to Rob Halford. Like I'm surprised. Like he made his voice sound so similar to Rob Halford in a way, and that's just amazing. Um, but yeah, such an amazing cover song. Like it's even better than the cover song. Like I love. There's another cover song that they did on Individual Thought Patterns. It was a cover of Kiss's song called "God of Thunder," and that cover was amazing. But this cover is even more amazing. Like this version of the song gets my imagination into overdrive. Like seriously, every time I listen to the song, um, I always imagine like this mountain, like I always imagine this mountain, but like with Chuck Schuldiner up on the very top of the mountain, just belting out those vocals, playing his guitar, and then all the other members of the band on the sides of the mountain just doing their thing, and like Chuck. And then, like, there's like a thunderstorm over the mountain, and like there's lightning everywhere, and there's thunder rolling across the sky, and just Chuck belting out those vocals, and his vocals just like reverberating across the landscape. But yeah, so yeah, this cover song really gets my imagination to overdrive. I love it. But yeah, that's the end song. Now, originally it wasn't the end song. Originally it was just a bonus track, listed as a bonus track. But I guess with this re-release, they clumped it in there with the rest of the tracks, which is awesome. I love it as an end track. Whoo, I'm out of breath. I'm sorry. I really love this album. Anyway, but yeah, overall, an awesome, awesome album. Really great way to end a discography. I almost did a hiccup there. Trying to not do that, because it ruins what I'm trying to have. I'm trying to talk, and then, yeah. And don't you hate when you're trying to say something, and then you try to keep yourself from hiccuping, because you're in the middle of saying something? Anyway. Oh yeah. So, overall, great album. Great way to end a discography. But, yeah. Overall, I'm gonna give this album a 9 out of 10. Like, I don't, like, very rarely, what the hell? Very rarely, I give an album a 10 out of 10. This is close. This is a near perfect album. Like, I guess if they, if they had taken off, Flesh and the Power It Holds, and, if they took off that song, it would be a perfect album. But unfortunately, that song does drag it down a bit. But, it's still a 9 out of 10. Like, this is still a near perfect album. But yeah, overall, great album. Highly recommended, especially for someone who is just starting to get into extreme metal. This is definitely the first thing you should listen to. But yeah, so that's my review of The Sound of Perseverance by Death. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.